Hi, Teaquilters. It's T with Teaquilts, and I'm in here a little bit early just to get um, people knowing that I'm live. I wasn't sure if I was going to be live today, but thank you all so much for coming. I see some people already waiting, so thank you so much. I got to find my live. There we go. Make sure volume is down. So thank you all so much for coming in here today. I need to charge this phone. I don't even know if I'm sewing today. I have no intentions of sewing. But if we don't have comments today, then I'll go ahead and start sewing. Okay. Lost my chat box. So. And I think for some reason I put in the time, like it defaults to the time of my live. It defaults to the time um, that's like 5 minutes, the next 5 minute increment whenever we're producing a live. But I changed it to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, but I see that it did not change that. So sorry about people being in here earlier. So, and it would be 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So thanks, Darlene Crosby, for that. I don't understand the time. That's the time that I actually put the live in, is when it was trying to tell me to go live, but that wasn't my intent. So sorry about the confusion. Pat was in here looking. Maxie Doodle. Kathy D's Creative Chaos. Of course, Darlene Crosby, and then Sheila Willis also. Maddie Barnum. And Stephanie of Memoirs of a Longworm Quilter. So thank you guys for coming in here and letting people know that I'm going to come on later on Saturday. A lot of people were in here. Because I don't have a time on your comments, and I'm not sure. Let me close this and open it again. I'm not sure who's all in here now because I can't see times on the comments. So I guess that's just going to be an issue, I guess. And it's so funny because I can see the time on my iPad, but I can't see the time here. So I still got to reach over in here, pull this down so I can see when to start. Hold on, guys. Sorry. Delilah Castro at 7:57. Let's see if I can find that comment. I see where she's saying, hi everyone, happy Saturday. Susan T says, hi T, hoping for a big haul. Darlene Crosby saying, hello T and quilting friends. Quilt Gal says, hi T and everyone. Francis Jackson says, hi T and everyone. I like your shirt. Thank you. I can't remember where I even got this shirt. I forgot I had it, as a matter of fact. Brenda Foley is here going, yay. So happy my Saturday is going to be okay now. Vivian Calvey saying hi. Hi, Vivian. Winona Mixon says hi, T. Judy says hello, T and quilters. Kevin the quilter goes, hey, Miss T, hope you had a nice getaway. Let it be known right now that Kevin the quilter is not responsible for any purchases or hauls during Miss T's trip. Laughing out loud. Evening, all tea quilters. Shut up. um, C Joy Creation says, hi, everyone. Hope your trip was enjoyable. Yes, it was. Zella McKenzie says, hi, tea and friends. And Marianne N says, hi, all. Welcome back, tea. Thank you. Shirley Peters, hello, everyone. Hope all is well. Paula Joe David says, hello from Wichita. Hello, and welcome to the channel as well, Paula. Paula Joe. Carrie Richards says, hi, tea and tea quilters. And the Crafty Natural says, hey, tea and everyone. And thinking of the word crafty, you all know it's National Craft Day, like, or Handmade Day or something like that. Anything that's handmade, even if it's from cooking to craft, any sorts of crafts, of course. But I thought that was pretty cool. Leetta Bryant here. Hi, Leetta. She says, hi, tea and everyone. And Leetta, I accidentally deleted your Take 5 photo out of Teaquilts. Can you put that back in there, please? I tagged you in a post, but I don't know if you've seen it yet. Bonita Nan says, hey, Miss T and everyone just joining. And Pearl Medina says, hello, T and quilting friends. Hello to you. Stephanie is back saying, hey, T and everyone. Don Cunningham, hello, T and fellow quilters. Sheila Willis, she's reminding people to hit the thumbs up. As everyone came back in, hope everyone is having a great day. And Brenda Foley is talking to somebody else. Hold on, my screen's jumping again. Jonah Crutchfield says, hello, everyone. And A. Henderson, also welcome to the channel, says hi, everyone, as well. Cynthia Shade says, hi, Miss T, and everyone. So as you all know, I wasn't even sure what time I was getting back home on Saturday. Hi, Joyce Hernandez. She says, hi, Miss T, and everyone. So I decided not, I just made one pit stop, get gas, use the restroom. And actually, I made this pit stop on the way home at Hancock's as well because I didn't want to use the restroom at the service station. And so it was like halfway point of my ride home. So it was a Paducah exit is always a good exit for me to stop and rest because it's about 2.5 to 3 hours away from my home, and that's about the time you need to use the restroom or if you leave early before you eat a meal. Like I always try to leave home before I eat breakfast or something like that. So by the time I get to there, it's like okay, I'm really hungry by now, so I can get something to eat there as well. So and then on the way back home, I did the same thing just because it was my midway point, and I just went to the same service station, so I didn't have to worry about using my credit card at different places on the road. So yeah, I just didn't want to use the service station restroom that wasn't like Love's or one of the truckers places. Their restrooms, they have a lot more restrooms, and the restrooms are a lot cleaner. So I figured Hancock's would be cleaner than service station. So that's what I did. Hi, Erling Butler says hi, T and fellow quilters. Mary is here, says, what are you doing here, T? Laughing out loud. I don't know. I'm talking. Lisa Thompson, my niece, is here saying hello, everyone, reminding you to hit the thumbs up. So thank you, ma'am. TNC Norton says hello, T and everyone. I think that's it. But so it was I think I was gone 2 nights, left Thursday morning, stayed Thursday. Yeah, Thursday night, Friday night. And my friend, she has tomorrow, she's going on a camping trip Sunday night and Monday night because she had a 3-night trip scheduled for Tuesday night, but then she looked at the weather forecast and it's supposed to rain sometime in the middle of the night on Tuesday and Wednesday morning. So, you can't determine what's going to happen with rain, and she definitely don't want to be out in the rain. this time of the year. It's not hot enough to be caught out in the rain. So she canceled one day. You all are just talking to each other. So I'm just making sure no one else had come in. So she came from Georgia. Now, originally, this plan had changed so many times. Originally, Kevin and I were gonna drive down to Georgia and just pick up some stuff. I actually ordered some stuff off of, bought some stuff, not ordered. I bought some stuff off of Facebook Marketplace from a man who posted some stuff that he had as a lot that he was selling, and he had a price on it, and I kind of uh, I couldn't even get into the group because um, the group was closed to people that were living in that subdivision. So it happened to be, I got it from my friend. And so what I did, I had to have her go through with him with all of my requests and trying to dicker with price and all of that kind of stuff. So I ended up getting some stuff. And the reason why I was getting that is because I was in the process of trying to find reasonably priced door prizes for a retreat. And so I had her just go ahead and she handled that for me, and she went and picked it up. Well, I needed to get it from her, and Kevin and I were just gonna do a drive down and pick it up and come on back, and I needed to have it sooner rather than later so I can figure out if I got enough or how I'm gonna divide this up so that I can um, distribute it. And of course, I needed to take out anything that I wanted prior to that as well. So I needed time to actually go through all of this stuff. So then that got canceled because she was planning to come here this month. Her and her family were going to come here. We were talking about going to a Cardinals baseball game. Well, then Cardinals baseball game, the baseball season never started. And then because they were on strike, and then she had something else come up where it was deemed that she wasn't going to be able to make it. So ended up, we just decided to go ahead and just meet halfway. And then we just decided to go ahead and instead of just doing a turnaround trip, that we just take some time and do a few sightseeing things while we were out. So hi Francine, saying good evening to all the tea quilters. Susan Baker is here. Hi T and everyone. Um, and I think that's it. So yeah, so we ended up just staying 2 nights in, I guess we weren't in Nashville. We were more in Opryland, I guess, over in that area where we actually stayed. But it's very close to Nashville. It's like being in the city or to the county. So we had a good time. We tried to go to a few places. I am blocking the first place that we went all of a sudden. But anyway, the things that I do remember is we went to the Hermitage of the Andrew Jackson's, um I guess you would say it's a plantation because he had slaves. So we went to that, and it was pretty interesting. It was actually the grounds are, of course, very well kept. It was great to see a lot of the old buildings still standing as much as they could. They even had left foundations. So whatever they could leave intact, they have left intact. They've lost a lot of things due to tornadoes and, weather that has come through and taken stuff away. Even some trees and stuff. So, but they left whatever foundation is left after any inclement weather. If it can't be repaired, then they tend to leave that there. So that you get a feel of what the land was like. What was amazing for me, I guess, there is that how big the cotton field was, and where the actual slaves were, where they lived in comparison to the location of the cotton fields. But it was like, it was huge. I had never seen anything like that. I wouldn't even want to mow that with on a lawnmower, okay, on a riding mower, okay. That's how big this field was, and it just looked like it was this valley, and it had beautiful landscaping with the trees that were all, around the outer skirts of it. But it was, you go back, you know things happen, and sometimes just going back and just reliving what's happened to somebody is uh is always just great. We're living day to day and worried about what's happening in the next 24 hours per se, and it's just nice to go back and take a bit of a look at history and the fact that his plantation wouldn't have even survived without the hands of slaves. So it was a really good trip. We also went to the Grand Ole Opry. We got there and they wanted, I think it was $40 for an admission ticket. My friend said she wasn't paying that. So we didn't actually go in. And that's the picture that I have for a thumbnail on this is me with my hand up over the guitar. We were in front of the Opryland house, and they had a concert as well there. But I just didn't understand why they wanted $40 just for to tour the house. I mean the not it was a it's a theater. It's a place people perform. I mean I've been in one here. I've been in one in New York, but not on that grand scale. But I've been to ours here, and it just was interesting that it was just such a high fee. So just weird. Um, Colette Starks is here saying good evening, Miss T and everyone. Linda DeVito, hi T and everyone. Welcome from Beverly Hills, Florida. Nancy Gus saying hello all. And Dana Lewis saying hey there. So welcome everybody. Um, so it was and where else did we go? I can't remember. We went to Opry Mills Mall, which is right by um, Opryland. So it's just right across. It was real difficult trying to figure out where to eat in Nashville. We ate at one place that was like right across the street, thinking that the restaurants in the neighborhood in the area would be really good. So we ate at a sit down place that specialized in ribs, and the ribs and the chicken that they barbecued was really really good. But then they couldn't do anything with the sides. The baked beans were okay, and in the South, I didn't know they used vinaigrette for coleslaw. I thought everybody in the South had a cream-based coleslaw. So, and then the second night we ate at a bar and grill because we just gave up. And then, of course, it was Lent, and my friend's Catholic, so she couldn't eat uh, red meat on Lent on Good Friday. I mean, on Fridays, not Good Fridays, on Fridays. So, um, yeah, so it was just a little bit different. That's all. um, I wasn't like just truly fascinated with the food places that we ate at. I wish we had gotten some recommendations beforehand, but when I went on the internet, like places were saying that these places were rated 4.5 to 4.8. Okay, so I just don't see how. Vicky Lemire saying hello. Rose Hinton. Hi, Miss T and everyone. Darcy Savali. Hi, T and everyone. I'm at my mom's house tonight, so I won't be able to be here. I still wanted to remind everybody to give T a thumbs up and have a fun night. Well, thank you, Darcy. Have fun. Pieces, love, and quilting says, hi, T. This is Courtney Sturban. Hey, Courtney. I think that's it. Oh, Tracy Albert's on the bottom saying hi, T and everyone. Hi, Tracy. So yeah, so I had a good trip, a good 2 days, and oh, the other thing that was interesting, my friend has an electric car, and then she has an app that is supposed to tell you where you can go charge your car, right? So every time they would tell us where we could charge her car, so she could have cheaper gas mileage, and then her car started just doing weird things. So it was really, I guess, important that she put it on a charger, and so we would be looking for this place, and I mean they would never have the pinpoint in the right place. So that was beginning to get old because I'm when she puts her car on a charge, I got to follow her so that she can have, because her car is gonna have to sit on a charge for about 4 hours so it can fully charge. And so that means when we can't find it, we're both just driving around wasting gas. Okay. So on the last day we were doing that, it was like I think I got a little frustrated with that. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna park on this lot. When you find it, you let me know. So um, I don't think I'll be getting an electric car anytime soon. Not traveling on the highway anyway, because it's hard if you don't know where you can go charge your car. You'll know where they are in your local areas, but when you're traveling, you don't know where they are. And I'm like, if Google can pinpoint everybody's home address correctly, I don't know why they can't pinpoint these charge stations. So we had that little issue too. Um, oh, Courtney saying that she thought I'd give you a heads up so you know, yeah, about her name. Okay. Um, and Stephanie saying, "Yikes! I might need to rethink an electric car." And she has a Chevy Bolt, and she's had it for 5 years, and it just was doing weird things. It was malfunctioning on the screen. It wouldn't. Her phone would be connected, and she'd have her map going into the car because she didn't have a serious no. I forget the name of the GPS system that goes with Chevy. I'm blocking the name because I don't have it. Um, I don't need that to have my maps, but she needed that in order to have her maps. But what you can do is if you Bluetooth your phone in, you bring it up on Google, and then Google will bring it into your car screen. And it would lose her phone, and then right in the middle of us trying to find the pin, the screen would go blank. It was a mess. It was a hot mess. I said, I don't know if I want to do that. So, but yeah, but when I went to Hancock's of Paducah twice, I bought the first time I went in, I bought some stuff, and then when I left, I thought about the fact that I have uh, that the squares, the 4.5 inch squares kit that I sold you all with K Facets. I remember that I never could find border fabric that I wanted to put on that quilt. And then I was already in my car, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going back in there. So on the way back home, I actually went back in there so that I could go just find a piece of fabric from K Facets and just buy 2 yards. Well, I also then went back to a little clearance, just like their remnant section where you can buy stuff. The end of their bolts, it was like $5.97 a yard, something like that. So I went back over there. I went there the first time and I went there the second time. The second time they had a lot more stuff on there. So they did a lot of cutting between Thursday and Saturday. Cool Gal says you should have went to Paula Dean's new restaurant or some other country singer restaurants. Now this is what's funny. Once we ate at one bad place that said it had a rating of 4.8. We well, the barbecue was good, but they didn't have sides. So I guess if you are a meat person, that's great. The meat was actually very, very good. I'm not usually a meat person though. I like sides. Um, but we looked up Paula Dean's and she had like a 3.8. So it was like, I don't think so, because we did think about going to Paula Dean's restaurant. Um, but we were trying to go off of ratings. And then we were at the mall and they had this aquarium thing over there. And, when anything's attached to a mall, you're going to be paying a lot more money for stuff. And so we decided not to go in there because their ratings were like 3.5 or something. And so we just skipped that one too. And then that was a Mexican restaurant attached to the mall you can enter from the outside. It wasn't on the inside. You enter from the outside. Now that Mexican place, that food was really good. We had fish tacos because we had that Friday for lunch. So that was pretty cool. So we had one good meal. Nancy told my girl, I wish I knew you was there. I would have come and seen you. I couldn't have planned to do a meetup with anybody, especially after I get there and realize how many times we were going around trying to search for chargers, because we'll find a charger and then it was attached to a hotel that you had to be a resident to use, and you had to pay $35 to get onto the lot if you're gonna, and then you had to still pay for the charger. Or we get to a charger and then the chargers that they had, they wouldn't work with her vehicle. She thought there was only two types of chargers. They had the two types there, but apparently they didn't have her type. So apparently there's three types of charging station systems now. So we spent a whole lot of time driving over some of them counties, the suburbs, looking for chargers. Okay. I wouldn't have been able to meet up with anybody, and that was not on my agenda at all. We were supposed to be going to see a lot more sightseeing places, and then traffic was so backed up in Nashville. Nashville has a lot of traffic, and they were doing some construction in particular areas too. So we had lots of traffic, and then it was like by the time 3 o'clock hit, it's like I'm staying on this side, but close to the hotel because I didn't want to have to get back on another highway. It was a lot of traffic, and the rush hour traffic the first day we were in, it was Thursday, I guess, and it was like 7 o'clock, and it was still busy on the highways on a Thursday night. I was just shocked. So. And TNC Norton talking about that charging business is crazy. Yeah, and I think that's why I got a little frustrated because I'm like, I was sick and tired of driving on Nashville's highways, and so I think that's what really frustrated me because of all the cars. And then when people see you have an out of town plate, I think they get even more aggressive with those drivers than they do. And I mean, people would like just throw their car in front of me, like there was like a half a car length, and then they would just throw their car in there anyway because I'm trying to trail her so I don't lose her. And a couple of times I did lose her, and she couldn't stop immediately, so I didn't know where she had gone, and it was a mess. And that's when I just said, you know what? I'm gonna stay on this parking lot right here. When you figure out where you at, you just let me know. I couldn't take it anymore. My sister has been to Paula Deen's before. She says she didn't really like it. See, and that's why the reviews on Paula Deen is terrible. Stephanie says chargers are hard to find, it seems. The closest one to me is almost 1.5 hours away. Girl, not worth me getting an electric car. They should be universal at gas stations. But you got to remember, gas stations, now some of them charge you and some of them give them to you for free. But remember, whenever you're using a charger, your car's got to sit there. So there's not going to be a place that you can have chargers. Well, you could, but would you want your car sitting on the service station lot for 4 hours while it's charging? If you're going to do a full charge. And then it would make more sense for it to be at your major hotels because your car is already parked there. But most of them are only going to have one or two pumps for you to do that with. So then that's going to be an issue if electric cars get very popular. It's like you'll be out at 2 a.m. trying to see if you can get a spot to do your car. And if somebody else put theirs there and they went to bed, then you're not going to get it anyway. So it's the charging on that is crazy. And like I said, I don't know if she might have to just take her car in. She might have had some malfunctions because it was causing other stuff with her dash, her on-screen dash system working. So she could have some other stuff. So, and Darlene says she's never seen a charge station. I wouldn't have never even seen a charging station until she pointed out to me what it looks like. I would have just gone past that stuff. It almost looked like another gas pump, but it could be sitting out on a lot. It's next to the building of hotels, and they are a little different. Some of them don't look like a gas station because they might be tall and skinny, and we saw one that was very small. You would have drove right past it if it wasn't for the lights. Once it got dark, we saw the lights moving on it to let you know it was a charge station. So Yeah, you need to know where you're gonna charge your car before you buy one. And that's what and Sheila's saying they have chargers at the Walmart here, and she was saying at home she just goes to Walgreens. That Walgreens have the chargers, but I can't see service stations putting in chargers because it's taking away from you buying their expensive gas. And if you buy it at the service station, I would almost believe that's going to be the highest place that you can pay for getting a charge. Now, the hotel we ended up finding where she could get her car charged, it ended up being free, and it wasn't behind any locked gate, so that was pretty cool. Cool guest says my little town has 3 charging stations. Ain't nobody got time for 4 hours. Hmm, did I get you? Oh, she's talking memoirs. Rose Hinton says, I think it's a waste of money to buy an electric car. It actually will save you gas, and then it you can also, most of them, because you can do it with your gasoline vehicles, is that you can have it so that you can put it on cruise, or it can drive for you, and you can really get the best mileage out of your electric and or your gas. So I know I had a friend that when the Toyota one came out years ago, and I can't remember. I don't know if it was a Camry or something else. I can't remember what she had. Had a friend at the time that she had that, and she really enjoyed the electricness of it and the way she drove. We never went and got a charge when we were out of town. So I don't know what's up with how they're being developed now. So that's, I guess, part of the thing. But let me show you all what I got from Hancock. This was the first time I went into Hancock, and sometimes, as I told you all, sometimes when I go into shops, I try to go in there and try to just buy something to support. So what I did was I walked around the outer edge of the room and just to see if I fell into anything that was clearance based or anything. So I went around the room and I found a couple of things that were patterns that were clearance price. And so this one is for panels. And like I said, I have this panel here is one of those timeless treasures panels by Changawang, that lady I tell you all about. That has the really bright colors that I from that one that I did that previous panel on. Oh, it was the trifecta quilt that I did. Radiant. It was called Radiant. And so I just bought this because for $2.99, sometimes I take pictures of quilts. You could take pictures of the quilts in there. But sometimes when a pattern is just $2.99, it's just good to just go ahead and get it, and you got all the information you need. And then as usual, you can put this with any panels. And let me get it up here a little closer because this is a little dark. And you can just put it up there a little closer, and you can change and do things. You can have a panel. Maybe the other blocks will be string blocks if you don't have um, 4 small blocks from a panel. I do know that I bought some of her panels, and I thought, well, maybe I'll just get this and just look at it, and then I can always do modifications as I need as well. So that one was $2.99. I thought I had 4. Hold on, let me make sure. Yep, this one was also $2.99. Called This one was called View, an artist view on this one by the Sweet Tea Girls pattern. And then this one was called the City Limits Quilt. And I thought this might be something too that I could probably use with some African prints as well. So I just got that one. Again, it was $2.99. It's by Everyday Stitches, saying that it's fat quarter friendly. So it could go to a lot of things. Um, this one here was the cheapest pattern. It's $1.99. Originally $25 for this pattern. I know I wouldn't have paid $25, but it's a medallion quilt, and it's sort of like a sampler. And I like stuff like that. I like sampler quilts, and being a medallion is really cool too. Oh, Deduce. I don't know what that is. Eye of God. That's what it's saying. Eye of God by Margaret Brewster Willingham. And it's 60 by 60. It's machine piece and paper piecing. And so the paper piecing parts are supposed to be in here, I'm guessing, or you got patterns to copy somewhere. Yeah, paper is in here for paper piecing as well. I don't know if I got to make copies. I haven't read any of this stuff. So it's just coming out of the bag at the same time I'm showing you. So that's another one. And then the last pattern I have here is, I don't know what this word is. It's a Kaleidoscope Quilt, and this one was $7.99. It was the most expensive. They used a border print, and the only reason that I got this, let me show you the border print first, so you can see how they use the border print. And then this is what the quilt looks like on the front. I just thought the setting was nice. It's actually it's a 8 repeat of a stack and wax. So normally you can do 4, 6, or 8, and you on your repeats, and you do different things. So this is one that will take 8 repeats, and I've done one with 8 that was similar to this, but the way they've got it colored here is really cool. So I like that, and I just thought I would try that one too. But I don't have any border prints, I think, that will work with that. But I just thought it was $7.99. And I thought it would be inspiration for a retreat as well. That's another reason that I got it. And on the back, it doesn't have the original price. The original price is not on here now. Yeah. So I don't know what the original price. So I got those 4 patterns. Tom M, are we fixing to make a quilt? Not today. I'm just showing some stuff. So then, when I went to the restroom, because as I walked, I came in and went right around the outer skirts, and then I realized I needed to go to the restroom because it had been 2.5 hours or more by that time. And so I went back into their warehouse, which is where the restrooms are located, and they had this Wilmington Prince Essential Diamond Dots. And you can see the diamond, called diamond dots. You can see why it's called diamond dots. But it's 12 fat quarters, or 10. Hold on, let me make sure. 12 fat quarters. So that's 3 yards of fabric for $29.99. And I thought that was a good price. And so I said, okay, I'll get that. And I'm thinking again, I have all those busy African prints. I don't even know if this will work, but that's what I'm hoping that I can use it with, is if I see if I can pair some of this with the African prints, and maybe tone down busier prints with some kind of solids, but not white Kona cotton solid, because I can't do that. And so when I got this piece, I decided to go back and get something in case I might want to do some borders or something, or some background. So I went back and picked 2 fabrics from this pack. I bought 3 yards of this for background of the diamond dots. And I don't have receipts in here, but I think this was like $9.99 or $10.99 a yard. It wasn't the $12 a yard. And then I also bought the pink one as well, just 2 yards. So not sure on a plan yet, but I just wanted to make sure that I had something that coordinated with it before the whole thing went out of stock. By the time I make something or decide to pull it out, they'll no longer have this fabric. So I made sure I had some coordinating prints. And then I went to the sale table and I only found a couple pieces. This was Thursday afternoon, I guess. I found this purple piece, and I'm working on something that's purple, teals, and greens, and so I thought this would work very well with that. Again, these were $5.99 per yard, so they measure your pieces out and then just charge you accordingly. So this piece was less than $5.97 because it's not a yard; it's about 5/8 of a yard. And then this one is just a navy blue dot. Just can be used as a filler. It's let me see what this other one is for. This one is Motor Fabrics. The Heavens Stretch Out Above Us. Number 16922. 16922. That's what's written on here. And then this other one, I probably don't have all the salvage either because it's a piece, is a Studio Fabrics pattern 5923. Butterfly Bliss is this one by Elizabeth Isles. Now, these are their end of boats. Now, Hancock's is one of those places that will buy 3 and 4 of the same boat. So you can still go online and buy this by the yard. These are just the pieces that were there. So this is what I bought when I went that morning. I didn't go crazy. Along with these patterns. And again, this is Hancock's of Paducah in Paducah, Kentucky. Oh, here's my receipt. It's at the bottom of the bag. So the fabric was $9.49 a yard for the diamond dots. $9.49. I knew it was I thought it was $9.99, so it's even cheaper. Then, as I told you all, I went back because I wanted to get a border print for my K Facet fabric. And if you all remember, I kind of used purple and teal. So I was just trying to go up and down. I had a couple of boats and trying to figure out which ones had purple and some teal in it. And this was the closest that I could get. So I'll just show you this. And I just bought, this was regular price, something that I needed. I very seldom buy fabric at regular price unless I need it to finish a project. And I just didn't have anything here. And I don't want to I didn't feel this quilt was wanting a scrappy border. And so it's never been completed because I have some light background fabrics that I can put from my first border, but I didn't have anything to work with my second border. So I'm hoping that this will work with me not having the quilt with me. So pray it works. But at least now I've got something that I can at least put a border on there. It doesn't have to be super big border either. So I just bought 2 yards. Normally I buy 3 yards when I'm doing a border on a quilt. But I just decided, regular price, we're only getting 2. And it was like $12.49 a yard for that. And then I went back to the dreaded sale table. And this time I found some stuff. Like I said, this is a difference in a day. Hi, everybody coming in. I'm just going over a quick haul from Hancock's of Paducah. It's not very big. And then I'll be back to reading some chats. So again, this is lips. I don't know if you all remember. I showed you all a white with print that had black lips. So I thought they were lips. That was an African print. And so when I saw this one, I go, maybe I can pair the two together or something. So this one is, like I said, these were newly put on the table. So if they've got another boat, it'll be great. Okay, it's by Timeless Treasures. And it just says pattern number is GAIL, Gale, dash C8536. That's it. That's all that's on there. See if I can put this up here. You want to look right here. Okay. So that is that one. Guess I should fold it back up. I was about to toss it to the floor, but I keep forgetting I don't have a crew like Eleanor Burns to pick up my stuff. I got to come back and pick it up. Then I found a panel And it's music based. And I'm sure I'm not going to have this probably hanging upright, but we'll try. And I had bought some backing for the music quilt. And I thought if it was too short, then I'll put this in the middle. I'm not sure what size my quilt's going to be. And then I'll just build out the rest of it if I need to. But I just got this just in case. Again, it was on that clearance table where it was $5.90 something per yard. So this is like 5/8 of a yard. So that's what I paid, $4 or so. This one, again, the green, blue, and teal is kind of something that I will be working on. I just this type of stuff I just buy anyway because it can be used anywhere. Those tone on tone prints. So I just like keeping some of those in my stash. Essentials by Wilmington Prints. And yeah, nothing else. So I can't give you any identifying data. Just essentials. I don't know the color or anything like that. Just lime green. The Eye of the God pattern. I have to pull that one back out. Hold on. Was that Tom? No, that was Stephanie. I'll come back, Stephanie. I'm gonna get this because I don't want to have an avalanche on what's in my lap. This is just a white tone on tone. Well, it's a cream with white. A white on cream. It has nothing on the selvage. Kind of look like V's. Looks like V's right side up and down. I don't know, check marks. It could be that too. So that's what this print is. Hi, Sandra. Saw that one. And then this one has text. And I do have a pattern that I wanted to do. I bought a kit and it has all kind of, it's a bee fabrics I bought on a previous haul. I can't remember if it was Iowa or Illinois shop hop, but I just bought this one because everything on here is about be. The BEE, busy, be delightful, be amazing, be your best, be calm, be many things. So it's all kind of positive things in here. And that's why I got that one. Sometimes even if it don't work on the front, it'll help start piecing my back. This one's just another. Oh, let me see who this bee is by. If I can. It's Timeless Treasures. And the pattern is BEE-C as in cat 7172. That's your pattern number. We got to have those too. This is just another neutral. Anytime you're working on something like Bonnie Hunter and you're seeing small pieces of neutrals that have some kind of print in them, I tend to just buy them. Anytime you want to work on a neutral quilt and you don't want to use those white tone on tones that always look like just one fabric when it's pieced together, then you want to do something like that. Another neutral here is it's got words on here. Create, knit, sew, paint, quilt, crochet, sculpt. So it's like a crafter's text. And you know, if it's anything written on here, I won't be able to see it because it's tone on tone. It does have the nerve to have something in here. It's called uppercase breaking news. That's all I can see. But I'll put it up here so you can maybe read some of these words. I don't know what it's looking like. I seriously doubt you can read any of this. I seriously doubt it, but they're in there. So I might end up using this along with the next two pieces in my 4-star general, the red, black, and gray one that I'm using. This is just I I could use some more grays, I guess. In my, I got grays on my wall, but I'm talking about in the scrap, in the scrap drawer, which is crazy, isn't it? I'm gonna die with all my fabric still on my wall. This one is collect things you love that are authentic to you, and your house becomes your story. I guess I'm collecting fabric. This is pattern number 49, 138 of Motive Fabrics. And this print is so small, I don't have to turn it. Not necessarily something I would buy as a standalone, but it's perfect for my red, white, black, and gray quilt. And it was, again, on the remnant table. And then this one also on the remnant, Essentials by Wilmington Prints. Again, they don't put any identifying information about the fabric. It's just essentials. Everything is essentials. And then this is another small print, like a leaf or fern or whatever. I'm hoping that's right side up for you guys. Maybe it's the wrong way because I'm looking at it. So there you go. Again, can be used in the 4-star general. And then this last one was a fabric by Robert Kaufman, design number 20359 by Ann Kelly. And she says, see us, hear us, love us is the name of this fabric. Every once in a while when I'm doing strings and crumb quilts, and I might even put some of this in with some African fabric quilt. You just never know where stuff is going to get used. But I like when I do string quilts, when I can look at something and get like a face or something out of in my quilt. So I kind of like using stuff like this, faces, even if it's like pumpkins and ghosts and things like that. I kind of like that when I'm using my quilts, and then I can look down and see something like that. So that's the second bag of what I got from Hancock's of Paducah. This is the one I went in for and spent another maybe $40 on their clearance table. I think I had 7 yards of clearance stuff, because what they do is they tally it all up and then they just ring it in as one price. The Eye of God pattern is a pattern. It says Eye of the Beholder over here. Look over here, Stephanie. Eye of the Beholder. But then down here it says Eye of God. Okay. And then it's by Margaret Brewster Willingham. Let me put that back up here. Hopefully you can see that. And it was on clearance for $1.99. So this is the kind of stuff. I don't know how many they had in stock, because I wasn't paying that kind of attention. I wouldn't be able to do that with everything that I looked at. Like I said, I went through the whole pattern of the wall patterns, and I only looked at things that were on sale or stopped really long on things that were on sale. I saw some stuff that I would have really liked, but it's like, okay, I didn't come in here to pay $15 for a pattern, so it's got to be marked down. So that's the only thing that I bought was marked down stuff that I like. So I'm sure if you go on their website, if they still got any, then they will be there. I'm sure if it was the last one, it would have been like really obvious. So it should be there. But I wouldn't know how they list this on their website because it's got 3 different names up here. It's got this name up here at the top, which I don't know. And then Eye of the Beholder, and then Eye of God. So it's got all kinds of names. Too much information. Thank you, Marianne, saying nice haul. Wow, great deal on clearance fabric. Yes. Oh, and Darlene says she likes eyeballs too. Okay, and eyeballs in quilts. Yes. I want to make a great quilt. I think it will be nice. Yes. Stephanie says, hey, everyone coming in. T is sharing a haul with us. Thank you, Stephanie, for letting people know what's going on. And thank you, Delia. She says, great haul. So that's, I was going to go to, I was on my way. When I got to Nashville, I got there before my friend or in the area. I was going to go to a quilt shop that used to be in Franklin that moved to another subdivision. And when I got to that place, I couldn't find it. So I called the lady. It's now about 15 minutes to 4. And on the website it says they on the internet it says they close at 5. So I called because I couldn't find her, and I said, "Can you tell me where you're located?" I'm thinking maybe she's on the back of the building or something because I didn't see the address numbers on the front. But where she was a Big Lots, and you know when Big Lots come into a shopping center, that's a building like a how you have an L wing shopping center. They normally take up so many spaces that 209 could have been the included in the number of the buildings that they took over. And so it ends up she had moved to some other subdivision, and I don't know where it was, and she was closing at 4 though. And so I was telling her that I had come from out of town. I went downtown to your old place, you weren't there, and then I googled it, and then I come over here and you're not here, and so and I can understand people wanting to go home. I mean, she's been working all day. Somebody that she didn't know was coming, and you're calling 15 minutes before closing. So people have lives. So she wasn't able to do it, even though I was going to be there uh, Friday, and I could have done it Saturday before I came home. I did not want to drive again. I had already passed where I was going because Franklin, Tennessee is about another 40-minute ride past where I needed to be. Um, and there was no way I was going to go back to the hotel and go back out there after I've done all that other driving in Nashville. So then I thought I was going to go to another quilt shop on Friday, but by the time we got through again trying to find these chargers, it was 3 o'clock, and I wasn't going to drive 16. It said it was 16 miles in Nashville's rush hour traffic. I said I'm not doing that either. So I didn't even go to any quilt shops in Nashville, and that's sad, or in that area. Um, and that's just really, really sad. I do like to go visit shops so that they can keep their doors open. I always try to buy something, even though I don't need a thing. I still go in and try to support them because I can use it as a museum. We pay to get in some museums, so I figure why not just buy something in a quilt shop since I've enjoyed my look around. But this time it just didn't happen. So that's just how it be sometimes. Thank you, Tom. He's reminding people to please share this video with your friends and family, and also subscribe if you have not done so. Thank you so much. um, oh, yeah, and that's what I figured that is Eye of God. Um, Hi, Joanne Carpenter. And Darlene says, I like to support small businesses too. Yes. And it's like, so many things have closed down since COVID. And I'm sure when she was in Franklin is a historic area. And that's the other place we went to. Um, we went ahead, and when we were down in the Franklin area, we went back and drove down because that was just right down the street from where I was. And so we went back down there and then just did like a little travel walk around. And we went to Carlton's house or something. I can't remember what the name of that house was. Carlton House, I think. And then we also went to another place that was by a river, and it had a big cemetery attached, but I can't remember what that one was. I didn't know anything about that at all. So my friend, she's like a little tour guide. She always got a whole list of things to do and see whenever she goes anywhere. But so yeah, this thing keeps telling me I have a software update to install. Hey, wash your hands. Says hi T and everyone. So yeah, so that's basically all that I did. I don't know if I'm gonna be doing any sewing today. That's why I didn't name it a sewing chat. I don't know if I'm in the mood for that. I have not taken a nap or anything today. I did sleep good. That was unusual for me. I guess with all that driving around the city, I was able to sleep good because whenever I'm on the highway, I do tend to sleep good, but not normally when I'm away from home. But I guess I had drove so many miles around in Nashville, and I was so frustrated with the traffic that I slept good both Thursday night and Friday night. So I haven't had a nap today yet. I came home, I got everything out of my car, I got my next quilt lecture stuff ready, and that's not next week, but the week after. So I'm trying to make sure I get that out the way. And I'm still in the process of longworm quilting. I got a few longworm quilts I got a quilt, and so I'm trying to get those things done. So um, I'm just not in the mood right now for sewing. I did take my laptop while I was on my so-called vacation, and I was trying to work on. I told you all that I'm handling this massive task of trying to sort out all of my files for my Longworm machine, my computerized files, and I'm trying to rename stuff, get rid of duplicates because I realize I have a lot of duplicates, and so that's kind of what happened when you're buying batch things, and then sometimes things will have the same name, but it might be a different design, and so I'm having to check all of that kind of stuff. So what I did, and everything when I get them, stuff like that, they're zip files, and so I'm taking all of this stuff out of zip files and putting it into a generic folder so that I can rename stuff. Because when I'm a, I used to be a secretary. Then I was a research analyst, and I have this thing about file naming. If you're going to name stuff, you got to keep it all consistent. I can't have numbers before zebra edge to edge, okay? If I'm looking up for this zebra, I'm gonna be looking for the zebra, not the numbers before the zebra. And so I'm putting the zebra in front and then putting the numbers on the back end. And then when I do my printout of my patterns, they'll be alphabetical. And then when I'm looking for something, if I was looking for a zebra, it would be up in the beginning of the list because it would be by numbers, when in true essence I would be looking in the Z for a zebra. So I'm trying to do that kind of stuff, and I'm renaming and making sure I got all my capitalization so when it prints out it ain't all these little lower cases. And yeah, and then they got dashes in between instead of spaces, and so I'm just renaming everything. So it's a hard and a long chore, but it's one of those things that it drives me crazy if I don't do it right. So I'm just taking my time and doing it right. So you're dizzy, Sandra? Nancy says Nashville is horrible. Yes, it is. For driving. The people were really nice. I didn't meet anybody. I felt like all the people there were very nice, and that we met and talked to. So I just didn't like the driving. That's all. And Don says driving makes me tired, especially after 4 more hours. Yeah, and see, I can normally sleep for days once I go on a road trip. So um, I'm doing the same thing with my files on my Longworm 2T. That's Stephanie. Yeah. And it's like when Butler, this is not a negative to Butler. They got like their own categories. They even got designs by designer names. I don't know designer names when I'm looking for a pattern. I just know the name of my pattern. So I'm trying to change their catalog, and that's what I'm doing. And so eventually I'm going to take everything off of my Butler tablet and reinstall it back in folder by folder. And so right now I'm just only working on the Pentos, the edge to edge, because that's what I use the most. And then I'll be working on the other stuff later. But I'm just trying to get, because that's what I have the most of is edge to edge. Well, I have a lot of blocks too, but mostly I have edge to edge Pentos because that's what people want on their quilts. They're not uh, when you're doing custom quilting, you start charging people, letting people know what it really costs. People want custom quilting, but they don't want to pay custom quilting prices. So, yeah. So, most of my customers get edge to edge. And so that's what I'm trying to organize first so I can have just my pantos for them. And it just takes a long time. It's ridiculous. Um, Yes, it is a whole lot of fiddly work. It's a pain in the butt, but you know what's the alternative if you want to get your stuff out, you know? And I'm trying not to mess with my original files until I get my other copies ready. So when I do need to use like I didn't even I got a new tablet with Butler when they upgraded their tablets. I told you all about that, and I have never put all of my files on the new tablet because I was like, you know what, I need to redo this, and so then the new tablet has some files on it that my old one didn't. So I got to figure out which ones are old and which ones are new, and it's just a pain. And I hate seeing duplicates. It's like, you know, I got a lot of stuff. I don't need a space for a duplicate. I need to just only print it once. I don't need to print it a whole lot of times. So, and Joanne Carpenter says, T, do you work outside home? Nope, not anymore. I retired in 2015 from my job that I worked for 30 years and 4 months. And I don't miss it, not one iota. Not one iota. I feel so bad because I probably had about, you know, I've been there so long. I was one of the youngest people there when I first started. And then everybody that I knew that I started with, of course, been there for a long time, and they were in their middle years, 45ish and up to 60. And so a lot of those people were, of course, retired by the and gone by the time that I retired. So by the time I left, they, you know, you got not a lot of new hires and all of that. I've gone from not being a supervisor to supervising people. And I bet you when I walked out of that company that had about, I'm going to guess and say about 550 employees, I probably had about 10 people that I would want to meet for lunch by the time I left. So I still keep in touch with some of the people that are no longer there more than the people that are currently there. So Sandra needs a cup of mojo. Is that coffee? That's the emblem for coffee. And Joanne says she retired in 2016. Yeah. So I actually retired on the first actual day that I could retire. I thought I was going to work longer because I didn't have plans, but about 2 years before I retired, I realized that I'd had enough. And so I just decided, okay, we're going to make this a 2 year plan. So we're planning to leave on our first eligible date. And so I just started putting things into place to make that happen. I started saving money for my long arm because I knew I wanted a long arm, but I didn't know I was going to retire that fast. But once I knew I wanted a long arm, I started putting funds aside for that while I was working. Anything I needed it in my that I needed in my quilting business, I made sure that I purchased all of those major items before I actually retired. Because every time you're doing something, there's always going to be something that you have to purchase, and so I didn't want any unplanned stuff. And it's funny because the first thing that I purchased was a new camera, and that was about $700 for my camera, and I decided I wanted to upgrade my camera for YouTube once I retire. But I didn't know that while I was working that I was going to upgrade and get more serious about YouTube. So I ended up, I bought a new camera in that interim. I also had to buy because my old cell phone went out, so I had to buy a new phone. That was $1,000. Bought a new iPad. That was another $1,000. So I ended up still spending a lot of money the first year I retired in 2015. The rest of 2015, I was like getting the rest of my ducks in a row. And 2015, I also knew that I was getting the long arm in 20. I had prayed for it in August, but I told them not. They normally have like a 3 month wait for you to get your machine, but I told them not to deliver it until 2016 because I needed to. I was using that time to rewrap fabrics and move my old fabric stash into packing boxes. And then when I got the long arm, I used the long arm to wrap all of that stuff. So that's when I actually wrapped all my fabrics too. Was late 2015, early 2016. So, but that was probably the best time consuming job that I ever did. And I'm thinking that these files are going to be my second. stuff like this is tedious and takes time, but once it's done and you know that it's something you're going to use on a daily basis, I don't mind putting a lot of time into something that I know is going to benefit me for the rest of my quilting life. Because once it's done, it's done. Yeah, I tried to make sure I had the things that I knew. I had all my tripods. I had I had quilt stands. I have about 3 or 4 quilt stands. I have a portable design wall. Things that I knew that I might possibly need for doing quilt lectures, quilt classes, or anything like that. I made sure I had all those things, and like I said, I had ordered more than one quilt stand because sometimes your quilt stands will break, or if you lose a part. And so I've got 3 that are like top big ones, and then I've got one that's like a smaller version. So if I'm using something that's a smaller quilt, I don't have the big one up there. But yeah, I just took my time and bought certain things that I knew I might be needing. And then I went to one place and I used all 4 frames. I took the whole wall and decorated it with quilts on quilt stands. So, but yeah, so everything that I bought, like for my business, I have actually used. I'm one of those people that if I spend money on like an actual business item that costs me a lot of money, I'm like putting that into use right away. So I don't mess around with that. Um, and I think that's about it. Hey, Tonanya Roberts, saying, I'm here. Good evening, all. And wash your hands, which I do know your name. Says, I'm preparing to retire in 5 years, maybe 7. Currently in a job I love, so we'll see. And that's the main thing. It's like, as I was on my job, I would see people. We have, you got people with different levels of pay in all jobs. And I worked with mental health. I was a research analyst for mental health, and we have what we call psychiatric aides. They take care. They're like CNAs in the private, but because you have to be certified to work as a psychiatric aide, we do our own in-house training for that. And so they were the lowest paid in the hospital. I can't remember if housekeeping made more than them, but they were the lowest paid clinical staff in the hospital, did the most work, and they couldn't afford to retire because of their salaries and what they would get in the retirement package. And they're in their 65, 67, pushing chairs or walkers trying to go to work, and you're working with mentally ill clients that could have knocked any of that from up under you at any time. And I just looked at that and I said, you know what? This is not going to be me. I'm not going to be hanging around here this long like that. So, but I used to I actually love my actual job of being a research analyst. It's just that it had so many changeovers in staff, and then they were hiring people that were on, people would put on their resumes what they want, what you want them to have. And then when they get into the actual job, these people can't do the job. And then it was making my job more difficult because I'm the only research analyst, and working with any um, medical facility, you have to be accredited, or you should be accredited. And I'm the one that collected all of that data for accreditation. And when people don't do their jobs or don't know their job, it affected my job. And then I had timelines that I had to get this stuff sent to Medicare, the Joint Commission. It was, different places that had to get this data from me. And it's like, either I had to do it myself or I had to go to administration. And sometimes it was like late every month. And it's like, I can't do this. So everybody wants to get paid, but some people don't want to do their job though, but they would love payday though. So I had that kind of issue. So Donna Ritchie says, hi everyone, hope you all having a nice evening and weekend. Hi Donna, welcome. Sue says, I retired in 2017. Medical issues. I missed the customers I had and still keep in touch. I like retirement. Started quilting then. Yes. And that's, a lot of people wait. I'm glad that I started sewing when I was, 21, maybe? 21, I think. nine, 1986, whatever that age was. And so I started sewing when I was home on maternity leave. And so I started quilting in 1994, and I am so glad that I started early. And a lot of people are starting quilting in their retirement years, and now that they've been doing it like 3 or 4 years, they are so regretful, remorseful that they didn't start it early. So if you can, and you're not a quilter in this chat, if you think you might like that, you might want to get started early, because you'll realize you're not going to be on this earth forever. And when you're starting something in your retirement years, you're not going to have 40, 50 years to enjoy it like I plan to, hopefully. All things going according to plan. Don says, I bet they need 2 to 3 people to replace you. It was so funny because when I told them that I was going to, I had told my department that I was going to leave in 2 years. When I finally decided I was going to do it, I did give them a 2-year notice because they needed to know. And then I also had people that were under me that I could have also prepped and trained to take my job. However, the people that I was supervising, they were always coming to work late. And my job, you can't be late because we have a morning meeting every day at 8:15, and we have to go over all the previous incidents that occurred the day before you even hit the meeting. So I started work at 7:30 a.m. I had to go collect this data from the nursing areas. And then I had to come back up, sort it real quick so I can let them know what was going on in the incidents. And you're actually reading them. And the last thing you want to do is go into a meeting reading incidents that somebody else wrote that you've never read. And then you'll be reading exactly what they're saying, or, certain things should not be read in meetings. If there was something about a sexual assault, everybody in that room doesn't need to know that. So it's like you need to know what you're going to read before you read it, and then you got to decipher some people's bad handwritings and all that kind of stuff. So the person under me who would have been great at the job that I could have trained while I was there that I didn't, she was always coming to work late, and they had asked me if they should give it to her, and I said I wouldn't recommend it because she can't get to work on time. I mean, I'm writing her up every other month for tardy and stuff, and she would be, she was one of those people that played with time, and they would get to the point where it would be just verbal before they get to the written part. So then they'll cool off and then let it go back. Using sick leave, calling in, all of that kind of stuff. It was just too much. I said, you want somebody that's gonna be here? That's not gonna be her. But anyway, I left because I didn't train anybody. So then they called me and asked me would I come in and do training. I said yes, and I gave them my price. They didn't want to pay me my price, and I just said, okay, don't worry about it. And then they called me back and said they'll pay me what I asked, which is what I thought. And they ended up hiring her. So I went to go train her. She knew what time I was coming. Do you know she was late every morning? The first day I went in, I forgot that I had retired, and I was answering phones and pulling stuff from the records for people. And then I was like, you don't work here anymore. You are a consultant. The second day I went in, phones was ringing. I had brought my iPad. I have my reading books on my iPad. I had brought my iPad in there. I had my iPad propped up on a stand, and I started reading my book. She came in about 8:10 when she supposed to be in a meeting at 8:15. I didn't pick up the papers. I didn't do nothing. So now she got to go run and get these papers. Yeah. But yep. I am I just wanted out of there. It was just it had gotten very stressful, and I said, you know what, I'm not gonna let this job wear me down like that. I was working way too hard. Most people when they retired, they didn't do nothing for like their last month. I worked like a dog. People, two girls, one went on a maternity leave, had a baby when she knew I was leaving. She had a baby, and then she ended up finding another job while she was off on maternity leave, didn't come back. And then the other girl quit about a week before I was to leave. She got a new job in another state. So I guess they weren't joking when I told them that I was going to retire. They said, "Well, I'm quitting if you leave." I said, "Oh my God, nobody's going to leave their job because I'm leaving, But two of them did. Wash Your Hands says, I'm a reporting analyst for a large hospital. We work from home due to COVID. Working from home is a game changer. I love to work from home. Yes. And if, and I did have laptop and network privileges from home because of on my level. Because I, had all the data for the hospital. So yes, I did have that. But they didn't want to pay me if I was at home working. So it was like, then I'm not working from home. So I brought the laptop home and I would boot it up just so once a month so that I could get the, keep my level to log in. Because if you don't log in, then you'll lose your login. I log in once a month and I cut it right back off. I said, oh, no, you're not. You work me enough at work for free. I'm doing 2 and 3 people jobs. So, but they didn't like that. Yeah, and Seaback says that, oh my God, T, you had the job, a tough job. Going back part time, I miss my NICU babies. Yes, and it's like I do. I miss my my clients, the consumers that were there, and that's the main reason why I love doing data because it showed where we should be making some changes, whether administration did it or not. And then I would go talk with some of the consumers and see what was going on in their day to day life, just casual conversations because I'm not a clinical staff. So they didn't know that it was my way for collecting impromptu data. I wasn't like sitting there questioning them. It was just like, okay, let's play a game of cards. And so I play some cards with them and then just ask them about how their day is going, done anything new or different or anything happening that you want somebody to know about, things like that. And Tom says, I want another 50 years to enjoy all I'm working on. Yes, and that's what I'm saying. If I had started now, I would be just really crazy. I probably have made, I'm just gonna guess, like quilt tops, even if the ones that aren't finished. I got about maybe 50 to 60 quilt tops that need to be quilted, or I don't know if I want to put a border on them. Okay. That doesn't include my UFOs that I have. I have a lot of UFOs from teaching and lecturing, but still I have a lot of UFOs, over 130 or something like that. I'm just guessing. And I have made, though, probably about 1,000 quilts or purses or totes and things like that. Yeah, I have been prolific in my quiltings. This is just stuff from 1994, not that I sewed. And when I was sewing clothes from 1986 to 1994, I was making like 2 and 3 outfits a week. So I was just prolific. I just love fabric and couldn't wait to start. Deborah Holloway is here, says, hi, TNT Quilters. I made it. Yay. And Tom says, laughing aloud. Good worker, but I was late. Yeah, because she could have handled that job, but she was always late. And then I found out through somebody else, they didn't even call and tell me that she had ended up quitting. So I don't know who trained the new person that came in because they, I, on my, I never did, they never did tell me when my last day of training was, when she kept coming in late. And I feel like, okay, she must know all she needs to know. I think I done about a month of days where I went in 2 or 3 times a week for about 5, 6 hours a day because I had decided I was going to go in early so I wouldn't be in rush hour traffic, and I was going to leave early so I wouldn't be in rush hour traffic. So I'm setting my own hours. When I figured that she thinks she know it all, I went to the supervisor. Here's my badge. Here's my keys. And she said, what, this your last day? I said, yep. About 6 months later, I get a call because it's time to do an annual report. And she was, and from the girl, and she asking me, how does she do this report? I said, you know that I told you I had gave you access to my drive. It's on the drive. All the information is there. What you need to do is call Jefferson City, which is our main, uh, it's our capital. You need to call the quality assurance people in Jefferson City and have them walk you through how you need to do that report. I don't work for them. I'm not doing that. Figure it out. If you came to work, you'd have known about it. That is too funny. Hey, Wind Sprinter says, hello, TN everyone. Pay back to her, right? You disrespect my time. Now you want me, you want my time, and I'm not even gonna get paid. I'm not even on the books. Nobody. Sue Baker's on OT and they give her the job. Wow. Yep. They gave her, but I don't know who in it now. I didn't even ask. I, I only know probably two people and they like weren't in my close knit group. So I wouldn't even be asking them who's doing what. They weren't one of the 10 people that I would have gone back to see. The people that I would have gone back to see are no longer there. They got fed up too. Joyce says it's been great. Thanks, Miss T, for the chat, and everyone got to go. Bye bye. I'm just here, just chit chatting. Um, just wasting some time. I'm not really. I don't feel like I'm sleepy right now. I just probably need to find something to eat for dinner, and then I'll probably fall asleep at that point. Hi, Helena Carter. Says hi, T and all quilters. I'm one of those people who always seems to be late. That's time. And you know what? I'm one of those people that can't stand to be late. I'm always there early. They say being on time is like being there 15 minutes early. That's me. I'm always where I'm supposed to be on time for the most part when I was working, like, professional stuff. And I definitely would never show up to a Gill lecture late. I'm always there like 30 to 40 minutes up to an hour early. Sometimes I beat them even opening the door if I got to travel a long distance because I don't know if I'm going to get stuck in traffic or anything like that. So I always try to go early. Thank you, Darlene. She says, please, before you go, give T a thumbs up. So thank you, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications and enjoy. Thank you all. So, yes, we're not going to be on here too much longer because I'm just over here just yakking. Okay. Oops, I did that by mistake. Okay. Moved my phone trying to move it so I could get the cord from bending down here. Hi, Leela. Just good evening, TNT Quilters. I'm so glad you're on here tonight. Girl, I'm hoping I'm on my way out. All I'm doing is just running my mouth about stuff I probably shouldn't be talking about, but that's okay. Hi, Remo says good evening. 109 watching, 83 thumbs up. So thank you. Kim Burris says hi, TN Quilty family. Courtney says you are awesome, T. Well, thank you. I always try to be as truthful as I can without like throwing. I would never like give people names and stuff like that. I would never do that because it's not about that. I'm just telling you about my experience. My daughter works for a big trucking company, and they were hiring a young man doing her job for 15,000 more than she was making. She was upset. Yeah, and that happens a lot of time to women in employment, all the time. And the same thing, it happened to me because the person who had my job before was a white male, and they tried to tell me that they couldn't give me more money, and I went to the chief executive person and I told him, I said, I appreciate you all being willing to promote me into this job, but you just need to know that I'm gonna have to still look for a job because I can't pay for my student loan with this salary. Do you know he went to HR and made them give me some money? And that's how I got paid. Otherwise, I would have been looking for a job. And they knew that I could do 2 and 3 people jobs. And they know, and they just want to pay you less money. All the time they do that. APQS Roadshow came to Charlotte, North Carolina. I tried out their Longworm machines. Did you try their Longworms? Yes, I did. The only thing that when you're sewing on systems, sometimes they'll have carpet down because the floors are concrete. And I just found that some of them, they vibrated too much. And I didn't want the vibration. So you just got to be careful. They are good machines. You just want to make sure that the frame is good because you're paying for a frame and machine. So just be careful with that part of it. Because if you're Longworm quilting and you're going to be doing it for 2 hours and this thing is doing this to your hands, remember, you're going to have that for 2 hours. And a lot of them did that. And so I was like, nope, X out. But they're great machines. I don't know anything about, I can't remember their quilting frames because that's been too long ago when I was trying them out. When I was doing my information on my video that I have, I was looking at machines in 2013 to 2015. I had went to whatever show I went to, I checked the machines at every show. Even if I checked them at the previous show and it was the same company, I checked them again at the next location. So Kim saying that she dozed off. Good night, Mary. See you next time. And we're going to get off of here. I'm not going to stay on here too much longer. That my brother just coming in here. Did I miss that? I probably missed it. I don't know. I guess so. A lot of y'all are saying, hey, Ray. How come I don't see it? I guess my screen must have jumped or something. I don't know. If you're here, hi. Hi, Mom, too. I can't even see his name. That's what I keep telling you. I don't even see all these comments. I went back and I've been reading stuff right in a row. So it didn't even pop up on my screen. So I don't see him. And Bonita says, I did notice the vibration. The lady helping me said I had to find the sweet spot and the vibration will subside or lessen. That could be true. Sometimes it could be, well, I'm just saying, if they haven't found the sweet spot, why do you have to find the sweet spot? See, when people tell me stuff like that, I just move on to the next vendor because you're not going to be able to help me when I got a problem. They should have already done that. Oh, I see him. He says, I am here. Hey, brother. So, Patricia Calucio says, T, with your African quilts, how do you use them? Originally I was thinking I was going to quilt lecturing because I was telling you all that my back and stuff was hurting. But since I've switched to those blue bags I was telling you all about, I might continue. And I'm just trying to make some quilts that it was amazing to me that I was in a room in a rural area. They had one African American quilter, and then I was there as a presenter. And you'll be amazed at how many people, of all the quilts that I showed, they wanted to look at the African quilts. And so I think people are being educated about it. And eventually I'm just going to have a lecture that's just dealing with African quilts. And then I'm going to be talking about like what some of the symbols and themes mean in some of the fabrics, because I think that would be very educational. But I got to learn that for myself too. I'm working on that. Kevin and I have been kind of playing around with looking at stuff, looking up stuff and what stuff mean and all of that kind of stuff. So, T, have you tried the Anova Longworm? I have not tried that one like anytime recent. If I tried it, it would have been at a quilt show, and I don't remember trying it. So it didn't stand out to me, but that's a whole nother issue. The thing that I did was once I realized that aluminum frames and wood frames vibrated a lot more than the other frames, I started looking at metal frames, and that's when I got to Gamma and Nolting, and it was going to be between those two. And then I didn't have a Nolting dealer in St. Louis at the time, in this area, anywhere in this metropolitan area. So then that's when I went with Gamma because we had one at the time. We currently do not have an official Gamma dealer in this area. I have to go to Kansas City area to get somebody that's a dealer. And then I also have Gamma's headquarters is here in St. Louis, in Missouri, not St. Louis, in Missouri as well. So that's why I started with frame, because the frame was what was gonna not vibrate. I had friends that had the wood frames, and the wood frames would warp, and then the wood frames also had a hard time keeping the metal components to that put your poles and stuff together. That stuff would always be get loose and rotate off and all of that kind of stuff. On my gamma, all I can tell you is on my frame and my situation is that I paid the most money. Well, no. At the time, Tin Lizzy was still selling machines, and their machine was higher than the machine that I bought, okay? And it was not as well made. And so I ended up buying my Gamma for that. Now I have friends that have wooden Tin Lizzies. They're having issues with that, the wood warps and stuff like that. So I would stay away from wood frames. The aluminum frames, I just think that they're too light to handle all the weight and pressure. That there's gonna be some bounce and some vibration, but they could have made something that fixed that by now. Like I said, I did research almost 10 years ago, and so things could have changed by now. And I don't go to quilt shows and sew on Longworm machines anymore, so I can't really tell you all anything more up to date at this point. But I can just, that's why I didn't really list machines by brand when I did that video. I'm just giving you things to look for. If you are standing there and it's vibrating, it's going to vibrate in your house. I'm just telling you that. So make sure whatever you get don't vibrate. Now, you want me to tell you which aluminum frame didn't vibrate that I do remember? I was shocked, and I almost bought it after I had only got down to Nolting and Gamel, is the Bernina. I don't know how the manufacturers made that frame, but it does not vibrate. You do not get that sensation on a Bernina. And the Bernina Longworm is even easier to thread because it threads just like a regular sewing machine. I almost bought a Bernina, but it was like I was going to make my decision the next week. I was in Chicago for something, and I stopped into a quilt shop, and they were one of their top Bernina dealers. And so they had the Longworm in there, and it was only going to be there for a short period of time, because they were moving this. They only had this one prototype made, and so they were moving it around the country, and it was going to be there for a short period of time. And I did sew on it, and I could not believe the stabilization on that Bernina. So it was weird because I told him, I said, I've tried other aluminum frames and they just did not work. I almost bought a Bernina. Oh, Bonita did say when they told her about the sweet spot. When I'm saying they should have had their own sweet spot. This is my thing. If you're at a quilt show and you're trying to sell $16,000, $20,000, $30,000 pieces of equipment at a quilt show, you need to make sure that every piece of equipment that you're going to be demoing on is running at top-notch conditions. You should be making those tweaks so that when somebody comes sew, it's not an issue. If they can't fix that tweak, then it's not a tweak. It's part of the system. Um, I feel like you either need to put some more floor pads down. You need to figure out something to keep your machine from vibrating, because I'm not going to spend $30,000 for something to vibrate in my hand. I just can't do it. Hey, Susan, you're out. She says, "Am I late? Am late to watch you. Been hand quilting all day." Winona says, "What project are you making next?" I'm still working on these bento boxes. We got to sew. We got halves. We got to sew into blocks. I have not even pressed these I just came on here Wednesday and sold these. So that's what we got to do. I just decided I'm not in the mood to sew today. So it's either I did a haul. If you coming in late, I did show you what I purchased. I went to Hancock's of Paducah on my trip. I went twice, going and coming home. And so I just did a little haul. It's not a whole lot. It's at the beginning of the video, or beginner-ish, about 20 minutes in, maybe a half hour. Um, Sue says, "T, I so enjoy your lives. Always enjoyable. Good night." Good night. Thank you so much for coming. Sandra says, okay. And that's why my first thing I tell people, don't buy anything you haven't sold on. Just make sure you don't buy something long distance that you've never sold on. You need to go to a quilt show where that or a business that's selling the machines and make sure that you sew on a machine before you purchase it. I don't think they do returns. I don't know. Patricia's asking, is it an all over design? I don't know. I don't know what she's asking or who. Bye, Courtney. Thank you, T, for your live chat. And Fabric Hall have great taste. Thanks for sharing. Thank you all for the chat tonight. Thank you, TNC. Patricia says, I agree. The Grace frames were the worst. Yeah. And it's they I mean they all if you're starting out and that's all you got and that's all you can afford, yeah, go ahead and get it because at least you'll get it done. But do know that 3, 4, 5 years down the road, you're gonna be making some adaptations, some repairs. You know, you're gonna have to work on some stuff. It don't last forever. So people have had gamma long arm machines and passed them down, resold them 2 and 3 generations. They're built to last. The framing systems, it's amazing. Good night, Kevin. Yes, I'll see you tomorrow, Kevin. And Patricia, I think she's talking about the Bernina, saying they are the best. Yes, they are the best aluminum frame on the market, in my opinion. Now, I don't work for Bernina. Bernina don't know anything about me. And she's got the I thought Courtney left. She says, I love my Bernina. I thought that was who said they left. Maybe I did. But then she came back and put her stuff in when I said Bernina. I perked her ears up. um but yeah, that Q24, that's an awesome frame system, the whole 9 yards. Like I said, if it wasn't for the fact that I just found it right before I was going to purchase because I had already set up an appointment with the people that I was going to get it from, and this was my first time seeing it. If it had been at the quilt shows the previous years where I could have sold on it a few times, the man did let me sew on it in the store, but I just didn't want to make an impromptu purchase, only seeing it for the first time, and it was a prototype. If it had been out for few years, I probably would have bought a Bernina long arm system and didn't even have a regular Bernina sewing machine. That's how impressed I was with their frame and the fact that the machine was very simple to thread. My arena says, Miss T, you are so right on planning to retire. Yep. It seems like I think part of retirement is kind of scary for people too. But I also found that I spent less money retired for some reason. I didn't have to buy work clothes. I didn't have to do birthdays at work. I didn't have to go out to eat lunch with a group. I didn't have to buy stuff from everybody's kids. Um, it's weird how you don't think certain things add up in your life, and then when you retire, it's like I'm looking like, did I pay all my bills this month? Oh my God. Tom saying, check T's temperature. She must be sick. She doesn't want to sew. And I'm sure Tom is a female, probably. I don't think Tom has ever told me a name. TNC is, I don't know, has never told me the name that I've seen. Sometimes comments go past and I don't see the name. So. And Stephanie says, I agree with T. If it vibrates, keep moving. Yeah. Because what'll happen is when you're long arming for 2 hours and it's vibrating on your hand, do you know when you stop sewing, you can still feel the sensation in your hand because you've been holding onto those handles for so long? And I have a very light grip. You all have seen sometimes when I'm sewing and you all see that I have a light grip, I don't have a deft grip on it. It doesn't take a lot to move a machine around, even though it's heavy. Those wheels are great. They're designed to move that weight without you having a deft grip on it. So you just want to make sure you're not developing arthritis and things like that while you're longworm quilting either. So, me too, Miss T. After 45 years and never looked back since 2017. Love the no schedule life. Yes. And it's so funny. I feel like I work harder for myself and it's enjoyable than I do for a job. And I don't even make the money here that I made on my job, but I enjoy it more and I'm okay with that. That's the weird thing. For instance, I did so on the prototype for months till mine came. Yep. Doris Winslow says, this is my first time with you, T. What is the price range on a Bernina Longworm approximately? I have no idea. They do have a sit down one that you move the quilt like you're doing free motion here. It turns, the head's turned, you got it in a table. But I personally, if I had the space, I would just go straight for a long arm. And I'm just going to be guessing and saying you're going to be spending somewhere around 30. If you're trying to get it computerized and all of that, you're going to be spending $30,000 to $40,000. I think when I got my machine, it had no electronics on it. I got overhead light and zippered leaders, and then it came with some free stuff. You can look at my videos on my Gamma. And I think I spent right around $16,000 for a Vision, and it's only 22-inch because of my space. And now that I've had to, when I put electronics on my machine, I had to open up and lose floor space. I should have bought the bigger machine. However, I can always go buy another machine or I can get a used machine. I can always upgrade my machine onto my Gamma frame. I don't have to get another frame. But I'm okay with that because with my frame opened up, I realized that I'm reaching farther and I don't like that. So I kind of got used to my 22-inch reach. And even though I've been dealing with this for 2 years since I've had electronics now, almost 2 years, I find it's just bigger space. I don't need the bigger space. It's only a problem when somebody want me to do some custom quilting, like making circles or something that's like on a 14, 15-inch block or something, and I can't go around the whole thing like that. So that's the only time it's a problem. Okay. um And Sheila says that they're 35,000, and that doesn't include the setup fee. So I was in the neighborhood. I said 30 to 40,000, and it's depending on. I don't know if Bernina's even come without the electronics or how they do that because I didn't get a chance to like read. They didn't have a long arm at the time, so I didn't get to follow them as well. Like I said, I only saw it one time that I sold on it, and then after that, I didn't go back and sew on those Berninas because I didn't want to be saying I wish I had got a Bernina when I got a Gamma coming in 3 months. So I was like, Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you, if you're paying that kind of money for something, $30,000, $40,000 for something, pay the extra money for setup. And they're gonna train you as well when they do that setup. Don't skimp on the setup. Let them come in and put that machine together so you can see exactly how it go together. I had my husband standing there with that man. He helped the man with a couple parts that were large. He helped him bring in, and you just need to see how that's. Let them put it together so you're not at home struggling for 3 days trying to put something together that they can put together in 2 hours. I'm telling you, these people are professionals at this stuff, and also you get training when you get your delivery. So um, they'll make sure you understand everything and make sure everything's running correctly, and they'll make any adjustments that's needed to your machine while they're there as well. So don't skimp on the training if you're going to get that. Courtney says, T, you did perk my ear up when you said Bernina. She was all like, bye, y'all, I'm gone. 248. Hi T, new subscriber and new to quilting. I retired 2021 after 26 years working. Best decision I ever made. I'm new to quilting, so I appreciate the information on the longworms. Thank you. You are so welcome, and welcome to the channel. Appreciate you popping a comment in as well. Um, Try to help people out. So if you ever got any questions, you can always ask questions through any of the comments on my videos. You can also email me at teaquilts@teaquilts.com. And I try to answer. I am kind of busy, so sometimes it might take me a little while, but I do try to get back to people that are asking me questions. And if I miss it, sometimes it goes into spam. Just send it again if you don't hear from me in a couple days. Thank you, T. You were right on the price. Yep. I said I can about guess what they want, and Bernina is going to be your most expensive. But I was shocked. They didn't just come out with a long arm just so that they could have a long arm. They went and did some research on that frame. That frame is awesome. That's all I can say about that Bernina frame. Over all the other frames, I think they got the best aluminum frame. Because I'm looking at it and I'm like, but you got a Bernina on aluminum? He's like, well, come over here and sew on it. I was like, I don't really want to because I got a camel. I'm about to buy a camel next week, but I didn't tell him that. But I went over there anyway because I was really interested in that frame. I'm like, they got a Bernina on an aluminum frame, but it's an awesome frame. So the computer is separated into one price, and some stores may have a free setup and training. Yeah, so that's good. That they do give you a choice of having it with the robotics and without, because I wasn't sure, because like I said, when I got it, it was just the prototype, and it had everything already included on that, and that was the only one that was made, and they were sending it to their big dealers so that they could tell them what the issues were with the machine so that they can make any corrections before they went into mass production. So like I said, Bernina did their homework on those machines. And I'm never going to sew on another one again because I don't want to know. um, exactly. Let them put it together, especially if you have the computer. Yeah, you. It's always just sit back and let somebody else do it. I knew this girl. She worked for Gamble, and she would come. She would bring Gamble to our local quilt show, not a big national show. Her and her family. It was her. She had two sons and her husband. They put up two Longworm machines in about an hour. Gambles. They were so efficient at it because they did it all the time. They went to all the local quilt shows, putting those things up. You're welcome, Maya. She says, thank you for a wonderful time tonight, but need to get to bed tonight. Stay safe until next time. Good night. And I'm almost done 2 hours of just nothing but yakking. Okay. And she says, it is, and the frame is amazing. Talking about the Bernina, she says, and I have two Bernina 770s, and one is the Tula Pink edition and Q24. Yes. So Vivian saying good night. Vivian's an early bird. She probably up at 5. Yep, it's me, Amber's mommy. Oh, okay. Mid-arm Berninas can be converted into a long arm. The mid-arm is about, I keep getting stuff up here, 13, I'm thinking 13 inches or something is what she's saying. The only thing about converting using mid arms is that as you're rolling the mid arm, you got to remember every time you roll, your roll is getting thicker, and so it's under your machine here. So as it's getting thicker, your quilting area, especially if you've got something like a panto you're trying to do, you're going to be losing quilting area. So just be careful. You know, if you're going to invest in something, I personally would not buy a mid arm. I would buy something that's at least 20 inches or bigger. 18 inches maybe would be my minimum. size that I would buy. But I reckon 18 inches can sometimes be a little too small when you're trying to quilt a whole 12-inch block as you're starting to roll the quilt. That's the only thing. If you're going to do it, go ahead and just go for it. Oh, okay. So slash 248 says that she has hundreds of YouTube quilting channels and learned that about T's channel through So Yeah and Tucker's Quilting. I contacted So Yeah trying to get a deal on some genomes. I had called them when I was at the quilt show trying because I was trying out some genomes when we were in Branson. And I was like, let me see if I can call So Yeah and see if we can do a collab on some genomes or something. And so I need to get back. I guess I need to get back with them. I had called them. They didn't call me back, so I don't know what's going on. But they text me like a week later when I was in their chat. They had texted me that night, and I didn't know. And then I've been busy going out of town, so I haven't contacted them back. So I'm the last it, I guess. So, but yeah. So we're going to go ahead and end here, guys. I thank you all so much for just coming and just chatting with me. That's why I just put live chat. I did not put the word so in there tonight. Um, but thank you all so much. I appreciate your time. You all stay blessed, be safe, and quilt out, everybody. See you Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time.